So, coffee and curry, why does this remind me of somewhere? Even though this game predated Persona 5 by a long time. Little over 10 years, actually. So, Niall's about to get roped into buying us dinner. Actually, a meal that you can't buy here. I mean, I'm guessing the kind of things they offer as sit-down meals would be different to the ones that you can buy to take away. Coffee difficult to make well. You know what? That's kind of true, considering that in Cold Steel, yeah, you can fail at making coffee and have it come out as brown liquid. Yes, that's actually what it's called. You could use it to refill EP, I think. Cold Steel did some pretty cool things with the cooking system. I'm definitely looking forward to showing that someday. Okay, he already knows a little bit. It's probably okay to explain to him what we know. Not that it's hard to manipulate that guy. Yeah, about that. Oh, we know something, all right. It probably took everything you had just to get that one paragraph out about maybe they should check their facts before claiming the Royal Guardsmen as terrorists. Yeah, that's our angle here. Okay. I wonder who these sources are. You just need to make sure that you keep your head down. So, basically everything. kind of covering it up by putting in Richard and Amalthea in the mix, but Lawrence is obviously the person Joshua really wants to know about. Hey, that's a Sun Tzu quote. I don't think he exists in this universe. He still has an angle, but I still like this guy. I mean, he came across as a jerk at first, but... he's actually pretty committed to getting the truth when it comes down to it. So, we're going to be doing some stuff before the tournament today. We'll be heading down into the sewers, and we'll be going there for more reasons than one. There's an image. Western Bloc, okay, got it. Before that, we don't actually need to check this, but I just want to show it anyway. If you go to the Bracer Guild, there's finally a quest here, Sewer Monster West. Now, since we're going to be spending most of this part doing the sewers, I think I actually might have time to show the History Museum here. So this contains some interesting elements of world building. So, this is the outer wall segment of a tetracyclic tower, age Preceptian. This wall segment was cut and carried from a tetracyclic tower, a structure built shortly after the Great Collapse. Depicted upon it are a staff-wielding priest and a winged godlike being, typical of period frescoes. Scholars continue to examine the design for any connection with Aidios. In here, there's just an area housing just a bit of a storage room where Professor Alba is. And he's having fun with his job. There are a few things upstairs, but I'll leave those for after I've checked this room, because this is most of the ancient stuff. Stone pillar with relief, also Preceptian. Found at the bottom of Lake Valeria, adorned with reliefs similar to those found on the walls of the tetracyclic towers. Floor tile. A piece of tiled floor from inside a ruined building. Broken stones fit together to create beautiful and intricate patterns. Not much else to say about that. Ancient lantern. A device built to hold fire. Most often found near towers and other ceremonial structures. May have religious significance. And here we go, this is the most significant part here. Preceptian calendar, the ancient civilization of Zemuria. Around 1200 years ago, the advanced civilization of Zemuria was at its peak. Then, suddenly and inexplicably, it disappeared. A great collapse occurred, destroying the Zemurian culture and plunging its people into a dark age of ruin. The items exhibited on the first floor are from the very beginning of this era. They aren't believed to be products of the ancient civilization itself, but nonetheless, its influence is clearly visible upon them, giving them immense academic worth. Septian calendar, 1 to 500, the Dark Age of Ruin. Immediately following the Great Collapse, the world was plunged into confusion, signaling the beginning of what came to be referred to as the Dark Ages. This era was defined by almost endless conflict between various powers and numerous nations, large and small, and lasted for roughly 500 years. Knight's equipment, Septian calendar 500. In an era defined by conflict, war became a way of life, and as a result, warriors came to wield great influence in society. This eventually led to them becoming a privileged social class of their own, so kinda similar to how real medieval history played out. The knights wielded armaments like these when they went out onto the battlefield, returning with more spoils and land, and gradually increasing their influence and power all the more. So we have a few small shields here, halberds, and a crossbow. Up on the second floor, we have Septian calendar 500 to 1100, the Septian era. The first appearance of the Septian Church occurred around the year 500 and marked the end of the Dark Ages. The church, centered around the goddess of the sky, Aidios, and espousing an ideology of human salvation, began to take an active role in society and rapidly permeated social consciousness. Eventually, the nobility and knight class could no longer ignore the church's power, and a new order was established with the church at the center. Ancient artifacts, age unknown. Artifact, noun, a relic of any shape or size found in an ancient ruin and generally of unknown or uncertain purpose. The church believes these artifacts have some connection with the Septarions, gifts from Aidios, and their recovery is one of the duties that the church fulfills. Artifacts are said to have supernatural powers, but those on display here are all ones that have since lost said powers and are no longer functional, thankfully. Church Testaments, manuscript, Septian calendar 500, a handwritten copy of the scriptures used by the church at the end of the Dark Ages. The ability to print did not exist in the Middle Ages, leaving no choice but to copy by hand onto pieces of parchments, again much like real life. Church ritual items, Septian calendar 900 approximately. The church has long been a source of art, and this has been true since the dawn of the Septian era. It was around the year 900, however, that the current likeness of Aidios is thought to have been first created. Likewise, many of the ritual items used by the church today first assumed their present forms in this time period too. That is actually kind of interesting. Medieval loom, Septian calendar 900, a man-powered machine used to spin thread. As the Septian era continued and people became accustomed to peace, cotton and other crops became more widely cultivated and sold. This is also the era in which handicrafts with the intent to obtain money came into practice. And we have some vases there too. And if we head down the stairs here, Septian calendar 1150 to 1200, the Orbital post-revolutionary world. It's been only 50 years since Professor C. Epstein invented orbments, and world technology has advanced at lightning speed ever since. Perhaps the most notable representative of these advances is the modern Orbital-powered airship. These Orbital ships are already used extensively in Liberl, but neighbouring nations such as Erebonia have also begun to devote themselves to their manufacture as well, and smaller-sized airships are also used. You can see a few photos here. This one seems to be a passenger ship. This one I'm not entirely sure of. This looks like the Sky Bandit ship, and this one is the RCA, I believe it's pronounced. So, that's pretty much all there is at the museum, but it is some pretty interesting world building. Now I'll see you at the sewers. Okay, so the sewer key A opens the door in the west block, so now we can enter. These places also have no map, but I kind of know my way around from all of the various playthroughs I've done of this game. It's kind of like a palette swap of the Sky Bandit hideout now I think about it, but there are some new enemies and other things in here. Like that thing. Mad Snail, weak to pretty much everything except water. Has other skills besides a hard shell for defense, though it's not likely to be showing most of them. Okay, Evil Eye's not going to hit both of them, unfortunately. And I guess, let's see, I guess you can also go for White Kahana. I don't want to knock these things out of range of that right now, so let's just let these two do their thing for a bit. Yeah, you'll see Olivier hits quite a bit harder with his magic thanks to his higher ATS stat.
Let's move out.
Again, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be art strength, but still. There are actually only 5 chests in this part of the sewers. Another one of you. Hi there. I forgot to show this, but Olivier hasn't actually learned any new crafts since we last saw him. Wait a minute, did he have a sniper shot last time?
You're feeling lucky.
I forget if he had that or not. That's a cancelling attack, which can be very useful. Its damage isn't anything to write home about, but the fact that it has pretty much unlimited range and is a canceller, that can be really helpful sometimes. If you really don't want to get an enemy's cast off. It's going to become particularly useful in the second game, but we'll get to that later. Hi there. And Estelle learned Hard Break. That's actually the last craft that she gets in the first game. Hard Break is, well, I guess I can show you the next time we get into a fight. There's a passageway there, but yeah, I think we'll take this one first. This one leads to a staircase down, but don't worry, this path is eventually just going to result in a dead end. Here we go, first chest in this place. And it's actually a very, very important one. Chomping spare rib. This chest is so empty it hurts. But you know what's not going to hurt? Eating this spare rib and getting the recipe. Yep, we have all of them. The recipe book is officially complete. Feels a little surreal to be finally saying that, but yeah, we've got every single recipe in the game. Wow, pot of meat heals so much. You are not going to need 5,000 HP in this game. You're never going to get that high on anyone. So now that we've done that, we can head through here. Actually, there's something new here. May as well fight it. Another palette-swapped enemy. These are great... Perfectly ultimate Great Moth. That's one of the most powerful cards in all of Duel Monsters. I don't know what, that quote's always stuck with me because that was one of the first full episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged that I ever watched, and I always really liked that one. I love how they were kind of making fun of the fact that it's very common in anime for characters to just, like, whenever someone, like, in a fight pulls out a really impressive special move or other thing, like, someone, like, watching the fight always goes, gasp, that's insert skill name here, or insert Pokemon name here. That's one of the most powerful things in the world, so yeah, like, anyway, I always found that hilarious. Right, is this the right way, or is this the one that leads to... I think this actually just leads... Yeah, I may as well run into you just to avoid a preemptive strike. I think this one just leads to a chest. Yep, down some stairs here. And over through here. One of these downstairs areas does lead to something interesting, but we'll get to that a bit later. Tira Bomb. The chest is empty. Are you surprised? It's actually blocking off that moth. And, yeah, I actually missed a chest going through here, but we're going to be heading back, so I'm going to end up getting that one anyway. Oh, right, these things can petrify you. Probably for the best that hit someone who had the Grail Locket on. I'm not sure exactly how Olivier can hit something behind him by shooting like that, but still. His aiming skills are the pinnacle of beauty. They defy all logic.
They messed with the wrong guy.
I have so many spare silver earrings, I may as well equip a whole bunch of those. Okay, so back through here... Here's another chest. Another Terror Bomb. Don't be shocked now, but it's empty. There are a lot of Terror Bombs in here for some reason. They just love handing you those for free. Anyway, through here is, well, another kind of redundant passageway. And, okay, there's a door there. Door there. Oh, I think I remember this area. You get very familiar with these sewers the more of this game that you play. Terror Bomb. The chest is empty because you emptied it, thief! How appropriate, since this video should be going up around the time the Link's Awakening remake came out. Okay, that leads down. I think this is actually where we... No, it's not! Okay, this area is really interesting. See that switch over there? And this suspicious wall blocking the way? Yeah, we might be able to do something about that later, but not quite now. The sewers, obviously, they go a little bit further than just the west block. I guess right now I can just go on a slight tangent that I sort of planned on going on at this point. So, tournaments. There are a lot of anime that do tournament arcs. There's, you know, a series from one of my favorite channels on YouTube, Trope Talk, that goes into tournament arcs that said that they can be kind of boring sometimes and that they can be sort of low effort. But I feel like that applies more to anime than it does to games, because in games often they can give you stuff to do in between rounds, like this, for example. This whole area is technically optional, but it's nice to give you some more experience and to break things up so you aren't just doing tournament battles the entire time. Now, there is one game I know of that did tournament arcs entirely wrong, and that is... Oh, by the way, see those chests there? We're not actually going to be able to get most of them on this pass through this place. Oh, that's actually the monster we need to fight, but... For now, let's just clear out these things while continuing this tangent. Mega Man Battle Network 4 is the name of that game. That game is nothing but tournaments, and that whole game is basically like the closest thing a video game has ever got to anime filler. Because the actual plot just happens in sparse moments in between the tournaments, and you have to play the entire game, which is almost nothing but tournaments, like at least 3 times to get 100%. It's definitely not an amazing game. Another Terror Ball! I say, didn't you loot me once before? That's actually all the chests we can get on this pass. These 2 chests, remember them for later, but we can't actually get them now. So, I'm gonna go ahead and heal before this one, and I think this is actually a pretty large horde of enemies, so maybe I should change up my tactics a little. By putting Zin in the very front, having Estelle and Joshua go there. That's probably fine. Yeah, that's a lot of them. These things are scissor hands. Weak against art. Very weak against art. So Aerial or Aerostorm is kind of insane here if you can get that on people. I probably should have shuffled my, orbits around, because I feel like I probably could quite easily get at least Aerial on people like Joshua or Olivier before this fight. I'm gonna go ahead and set a trap, because I know these things are going to be moving forward towards us. Unfortunately, Zin didn't get a turn, so I couldn't taunt. And now I can, I guess. And one of them resisted it, but that's probably fine. And, okay, yeah, let's just go for probably just Aerial. I wonder if these 2 White Gahanas alone is enough to take them out. Well, I mean, I could just S-craft with Joshua here, but I think I'll save that for the actual tournaments. Yeah, they're definitely going to die to these. No need for Aerostorm at all. Wow, really? Okay, they're weaker than I remember them being. At least this fight should be worth a lot of experience. Yeah, a ton to Estelle and Joshua. Level up on Estelle, come on Joshua. Yep, level up on Joshua too. 5 juicy bones. And that's it. That's all we can do in the West Sewers. So it's not really that long of a dungeon, honestly. I'll see you outside. I think we have exactly enough wind quartz, not exactly enough, but around enough wind quartz to get, yep, we can get Evade 3 now. So that's 1 more for our quartz list. I really want this, but an additional cast 2 is very tempting. So if I do that, I can actually finally put it back on Joshua. She didn't even mention Olivier at all in that team composition. So yeah, the owner of the weapon shop's actually a fan now. And now we can go ahead and report this quest. That's our first report quote for Elnan as well.